Hi, my name is Raphael. I'm going to show you how to play through a turn in Shadow War. Okay, so what we're going to do here is, this is an example of a game. So what we have here is the reality board in the middle, and each player's personal shadow boards, okay? Blue player, red player. In the actual physical game in your hands, you would have like a little notepad with a dry erase board. And so that's why these boards are smaller, because you would walk around with it in your hand. You draw it with a marker. So what will happen is at the beginning of the game, each player um, will divide the models between each other. So for the starter set, red player takes these four models right here, right? Ben Gorgon, Demon Searcher, Warlock, Shadow Demon. And remember, this is the most important part right here. You need to make sure that you're using the player support mat, okay? So it's this big black piece here, and then you place each one on each section. So Ben Gorgon is going to be unit 1, okay? So he gets the number 1 marker, okay? He's going to get an icon, okay, which is the angel. He's going to get a color, which is white, okay? So now every time I'm figuring out which trail is Ben Gorgon, I know it's trail 1, I know his icon is an angel, and I know his trail is white. And that means over here in this little shadow board, right? Same thing goes over here. And then blue player will do the same. Blue player will take his models, leader, hunter, assassin, and cleric. Leader will be number 1. Hunter will be number 2. Assassin 3. Cleric 4. And leader gets the icon angel and white. You see how it's all ready to go. So as the game progresses, what you're going to do here is you're going to start deploying your models. So blue player deploys in this back line here. Anything that has a space 12 on it is okay. Nothing above. So, and the same thing goes for red. Red would get everything from 1, anything that has a space 1 on it. Next, you're going to have these three um, um, what are they called? They're called um, potential tower starting tokens. Okay, this to symbolize that you might have started your tower here, here, or here. Okay, so let's say that blue player places them right here, and red player places them right here. Okay, right? Now your tower has to go on one of these three. So, for example, let's say that a blue player chooses it for it to be A12. Now, this part you do not tell your opponent. It'll be hidden in your shadow board so that red player wouldn't know which one of the three is your starting tower location. The same thing would go for red player. Okay? Let's say a red player chooses A1, blue player chooses A12. Okay? Next, what you want to do is you want to go ahead and put your models down in the deployment zone. Okay? Also, you need to make sure. Here, let me finish up my statements. So, leader, right, it's got the icon of the angel. Leader is going to go here, L12. The hunter is going to go right here, K12, because the hunter has the hammer symbol. Assassin has the shield symbol right here, J12. And now the cleric has this dwarf symbol, I12. You could not put the cleric up here or over here. He has to stay on any space with a 12. He could go over here if you wanted to. You do the same thing for red player over here. Red player, his leader, Ben Gorgon, A1, so on and so forth, right? You couldn't place it over here on a 2 space. It has to be on a 1 space. And you can see how the board is divided, by the way, by colors and shades. So you can see anything behind the red line here is a 12. Anything behind the green line here is an 11. So on and so forth. It goes up and down, right? While placing your models in your deployment zone, you need to make sure you discuss with your opponent where the objectives are going to be and where the terrain is going to be. So in the starter set, you know, you would have the objectives right here on F6 and each one of the terrain right over here. Okay, so this is already preset for you. You would do the same thing in your shadow board to notate where the terrain is and where the objective is, because that is very important, because you need to know if you need to dodge it, move it, whatever, okay? So now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and roll off to see who goes first. Now let's just say that red player gets to go first, okay? Now, at the start of the round, you can use this as well to help you all with what round you're at too. So if you're on round 1, right, each player will gain 4 action economy points, right, at the start of their turn. Okay, so red player is going first, so blue player wouldn't gain any action economy points. Red player would gain some action economy points, but blue player would not. Okay, because it's supposed to be in total, you're supposed to have 4 action economy points per round. Okay, so now what will happen is red player will go. Let's say that red player decides that he wants to move his Ben Gorgon model. Okay, you know, he's starting here, A1. Let's say that he moves a full 6 all the way up to here. Okay, so what you would do is you're going to go ahead and move from here to here. Okay, you need to draw out the path. I'm using white, not blue, on purpose to showcase where I'm going. Now remember, everything has a point value of how many action economy points it costs, okay? So, start of the round, right, you gain a once per game power. Start of the turn, you're getting 4 action economy points. We're not going to worry about once per game powers yet. So right now, it's a phase game, okay? You go through different phases. Right? The phases are movement, support, attack, then repeats itself. Support, movement, and turn. Okay? So, moving is a red card. Okay? So it's a unique action. It's special. So what will happen is the first time you do movement, it's free. Okay? For that model. Now, let's just say that he decides to move again. He wants to move east now. So let's say he moves 4 spaces. So 1, 2, 3, and now 4 is where he lands. Okay. Now remember, you have to draw exactly how he does his movement. Okay. Now let's say that because he has a full movement characteristic of 6, that's his speed, SPD. He could, if he wanted to, fake up to 2 spaces if he would like to. Okay. Now he is here. That is his second movement now. So this is why they're all squares on this board. So the second time that he's moved now, so now you put the dice here for a 2 on the move, because now it cost a red player 2 action economy points to do that. The first time it's free, the second time it costs 2. Okay? Now let's say that red player decides to end his turn. He still has a total of 2 leftover action economy points. This does pass over to the next turn, okay? Meaning blue player's turn as well as his next turn when he gains another 4, okay? So we're going to keep that right here, okay? Next, blue player is going to go, okay? So let's just say red player decides not to do anything in the support phase, attack phase, right? He's just going to go end turn. Bam. Pass the turn to the enemy. Remember how many action economy points you have left. Now blue player is going to go. Okay, blue player is going to decide to move his leader, right? He's going to move him from L12, move straight north to L7, okay? Now let's say, right, this is where you started, this is where you ended. Now let's say that now blue player wants to move his hunter model instead. So he's going to move him straight north, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now this is different because now you're using blue, right? Because blue is what's correlated to this model. Now let's say he moves him again from here. Let's say he moves him, boom, the hunter model to space J4, okay? Now let's say that he's going to use his level 3 searching ability, and he's going to do level 3 sight, okay? So there's a table that explains how to search for each one. Don't even worry about it right now because I'm just teaching you just one. So let's say, because level 3 is the best, so you have to be wholly within your tool of searching to use it, okay? There's blind searching, and this is called blind searching, okay? So he is at J4, which is right here. He's gonna call out, okay, are you here, 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 here? Have you been here, okay? Now, red player is gonna look at his board, right? He's gonna have the same tool. It's gonna be just thrown right down, just like that. And he goes, I have actually been there, okay? So what he's gonna find out is that red player has a trail token, right, on E7, okay? Now remember, this is the most important part here, that you wanna, so each one has an F, right, if it's your fake location, okay? Now if it's your real location, you have to use the real token, right? Now obviously in a real game, it's not gonna look so obviously different, but they're gonna look all the same. You put this face down and you say, I have been there, okay? So now blue player has a clue as if now where he could be. Now a blind searching action costs 1 action economy point. So blue player would pay his 1 action economy point, okay? Next blue player is going to decide to now perform a trail searching action, okay? So now he's going to pay 1 action economy point because it costs that much to perform this. He's going to flip over the token if he would like to. Now he found out that Ben Gorgon is on that space. So now what will happen is that he's going to grab the model, red player would grab the model, he would throw it down on E7, okay? Boom. Okay, cool. Now, let's just say here that the turn is over, okay? Blue player is done. Next, what will happen is that red player gets to go. Red player is now going to have 6 action economy points, okay? Because he only spent 2 on his turn. He moved Ben twice, so now he has 6, right? Now he's going to move Ben from here. Let's say he gets lucky, okay? Let's say he knows where the hunter model is. Let's just say he moves, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, okay? To here, and he goes, I'm going to perform a pinpoint search. So remember, there's 3 types of searching. Blind searching, right, where you're just doing a shot in the dark. You're grabbing the tools, and you're throwing them down on the board and be like, are you in this area with the tools? And then they say no or yes. And if they say yes, they grab tokens and they throw them out on the board, and they have to correlate to your unit if they found that trail, right? And if they find multiple trails, right, if like you have unit 1 and 4 that have crossed through the same space, you would throw down both if the unit and searching action tells you to do so. In most cases, it does. Then there's trail searching, right? You're flipping over the tokens to see if they're really there. Pinpoint searching is what we're talking about right now. Is you just out of this whole hex, you're just gonna go. I'm gonna just take a shot in the dark here. Are you at this spot? Right? So the blue player will look at their board and go, yes, I am there. Okay? It's a really low chance to happen, but I'm doing this to show you. So he found the model. He brings it into the reality board. Okay? Remember, we're bringing the model into the reality board when this happens. Next, Ben is going to put. Now remember, now he's moved Ben again. Okay, so this time now the upticks to 3, right? So this time he's gonna have to pay another 2 action economy points in addition to that movement. So what will happen is now Ben has moved 3 times this turn. The first time's free, the second time's 2, the third time's 4. So out of all these 6 points, now he's spent 4. Okay? Red player has 2 points left over to use. Now what will happen is let's say Ben wants to perform an attack action now. He's going to spend his action economy point. It costs 1. Now remember, this is in a different phase. So we've moved in searching. We're going to skip the support phase. He's going to go straight into attacking. Ben is going to now declare an attack on the hunter model. You consult the card, the datasheet card, okay? You look at both of them and you go, okay, let's take a look. Number of attacks, Ben has 6 attacks, okay? So everything to hit is on a D6. Okay, so Ben's gonna pick 6 D20s and he's gonna roll them. Okay. Oh, well, that happened. Now he's got to beat the armor class of the hunter. Okay. Now, the quickest way to do this is you take the armor of the hunter, you subtract it from your modifier of your character attacking, and you add +1 because you got to beat ties, right? So 14 minus 7, because 7 is what Ben Gorgon needs to beat. Sorry, Ben Gorgon gets a +7 to his roll because he's in close combat. Okay, he's not using shooting. He's not using magic. So he's going to get +7 to all these dice. So Ben needs an 8 in order to deal damage. So here's an 8. 8 or better on each one of these dice to deal damage. Here's a better than 8. This 2 fails. Here's a 12. This 5 fails. And this 3 fails. So he has 3 hits. Now the hunter gets to defend. The hunter grabs 3 d20s, rolls them. And now you match up high to high, low to low. Okay? So, just like that. This 6 goes to the... Yep. So, this 8 and 6 are paired together. This 7 and 12 are paired together. And this 17 and 14 are paired together. Okay? So now what you do is you add the same modifier from the hunter to his dice, and Ben adds his dice, right? So for example, 17 plus 7 is Ben's result for this specific die. Okay? So that's going to be a 24. A 24 compared to the hunter's 18 would fail. So this one is a success. When you succeed, you transfer all this into a d6. You do the same thing here. So for the sake of the argument, I already know the math, right? So that's 3 successful hits. Now you roll damage. So you take these 3 dice, you add them together, 13, right? And then for each one of them, they get a bonus modifier, which is the strength. So each one of these are getting plus 5. Boom, boom, boom. Okay? Here, let's do this. Because Ben Gorgon's strength is a 5. Okay? Like if the hunter was in the role of Ben Gorgon, he would get a plus 0 to his damage. Okay? The easiest way to do this is just multiply this by 3. And so you add these numbers together plus the multiplication of these d6s plus, you know, these d6s times whatever succeed added together, right? So 15 plus a total of 13 as a total result of 28 damage. So Ben just dealt the hunter 28 damage. You would subtract that from the health from the hunter, and that's how much health would be standing. There again, you can decide if you want to attack again or whatever. Now attacking it again is a unique action, so it requires you to always pay more to do it again, so you couldn't attack. You keep moving through the game, you keep searching and finding people. You consult the table for what phase you're in. You consult the table for searching aspects. You consult the cards for what each card does, and you just roll dice for damage. So that's how you would play Shadow War. Obviously, you would want to take the objectives, so you can either battle your opponents, right? Wipe all their army from the board, or you can take the objectives and score them at your tower to win the game. You have 2 options. But thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed.